What's up, guys? I'm gonna do my video on script number 3. It's gonna be about violence and all that. I'm gonna be reading my little essay thing, so I'm sorry if I bore you guys. Um, and yeah, let's get into it. So there's multiple ways to see violence. There's real, glorified, and survival violence. They all sound very different from one another, but in a way they're all connected. Hanif Abderraqib agrees when he writes, "It's a luxury to romanticize blood, especially your own. It's a luxury to be able to like violence, especially the violence that you inflict upon others. To use it as a bond or to call it church or to build an identity around it while knowing that everyone you send home bloody will not come back for revenge. To walk home bloody, to walk home at night." At the time of writing this, a video was circulating of a black man being killed by police on camera. Before this, there was another black man and a black boy and a black woman vanishing in jail and a black trans woman vanishing into the night. Do not blame punk rock for this. Making this comment, Hanif urges us to realize that it is messed up to enjoy violence or even to use violence as an excuse to create a bond. But when he went to that punk rock concert, he then realized that you can't blame the black boy that got trampled over as his own fault. It's more of like the glorified violence that went on during the concert. Because when you think about it, everything is simulated that's going on there. And what I mean by that is that like, um, like they're all getting into it, and like if you don't fit into what they're doing, they kind of like they reject you, and you just become like expendable to their use in a way. So like you're kind of just like their bitch. I don't know. Here, many naysayers would probably object that even if it's simulated violence, it is still violence. It doesn't matter if you don't fit in or not. Violence is violence. However, in the movie Green Room, they believe violence is more real and survival than it is simulated. To understand why I say that, you have to like understand the movie. And I know you all know what happened in the movie because you watched it, so I'm not gonna read where I explain it. But you guys understand it. Um, and that one chick halfway through the movie, she kind of goes, it's not about us, it's about the drugs or whatever that they had in the basement. So that kind of connects Hanif and the movie Green Room, because it kind of shows how people are expendable when it comes to like violence and all that. Like if you don't matter when it comes to other people's needs. So that's how those two are connected in a way. And where do I want to go next? So yeah, I mean, in the movie, that one chick saying that one quote about not like mattering to the people that like ran the venue, and how all that matters to them is just the drugs. Like that's just how they both connect. Um, and then now I'm gonna be like talking about punk rock and all that. So punk rock, by definition, is a loud, fast-moving, and aggressive form of rock music. It became popular in the late 1970s and early 1980s. In order to be considered punk rock, you have to be marked by an extreme and often deliberately offensive expressions and alienation and social disconnect. Gina Braxino agrees when she writes, "I'll tell you about punk rock. Punk rock is a word used by diligence and heartless manipulators about music. It takes up the energies and the bodies and the hearts and the souls and the time and the minds of young men who give what they have to it and give everything they have to it. And it's a term that's based on contempt. It's a term that based on fashion, style, elitism, satanism, and everything that's around about rock and roll." And basically, what she's saying by that is that punk rock is just a nasty genre, and it takes all the bad things that you'd see in rock and somehow make it into something negative, or almost just brainwashing in a way. And in the movie Green Room, in the beginning of the movie, when they first play their first song, you kind of see that brainwashing effect, because it puts everyone into a trance and starts that glorified violence, like we talked about in class. And so that's kind of how punk rock connects to the movie as well, and also Hanif at that one concert, because when you're listening to the music, you can, like, and you're in a big crowd and whatnot, like, you can kind of be tranced in a way. um and like, I know that like stuff happens, because when I go to like concerts and stuff, I know like when other people do, like when they really get into it, like they just kind of like forget what happens and they just do whatever. So with the punk rock playing and all that, it kind of hypnotizes them in a way to act violent. So that's where you get the whole glorified violence connecting to the Green Room and Hanif. And then after a while in that movie, when it becomes like more real violence, it just like, what's it called? Like they figure out like, oh shoot, like this is actually happening. So that happens, and then what else? And then it turns into survival violence when they kind of have to like do whatever it takes to survive, even if it means killing other people. So I mean, that's kind of about the whole Green Room and whatnot, with survival violence. And then punk rock, you could see it as like a way to start glorified violence. And then, so that's how those kind of connect. And then, I don't know, they all connect to violence, like the Hanif, the movie, and the genre, just because in a way they all kind of like start one another. So like I've been saying a lot already, the punk rock genre kind of emphasizes and hypnotizes people for glorified violence. Hanif, you can argue that it's real violence in a way, because that black boy or whatever got trampled over, stepped on and kicked. So it's kind of like real violence in a way. And he became a victim to the crowd. And then to connect that with Green Room, when the people got, like, they witnessed that murder or whatever, the dude pulled out the knife from the head, like that was real violence. So those two connect with that. And then obviously Green Room, survival violence, when they had to do whatever it takes to survive. So yeah, that's how all three of them connect to violence. Thanks for listening. Even if you didn't listen, thanks for sitting in class. Yeah, thanks.